everyone, happy March, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to show you how we did our March bullet journaling spread using our Expedition notebook. So if you are needing some inspiration for your monthly bullet journaling, just keep watching and we will show you how we completed this minimalist spread. Alright, so starting out with this month, it is March now, thank goodness, because it's starting to warm up where we're at here and winter has gone on for far too long. So I wanted to do something this month with my spread that was kind of keeping along with that theme. I wanted to have lots of greenery and I also wanted to keep more of a minimalist spread because that's a little bit different than the spreads I normally do. So I thought that might be fun to kind of branch out in that way. And here I'm actually drawing a branch. That's really going to be the main doodle that I stick with throughout this whole spread, and I'll just do different styles of leaves and branches as you will see as I go along. And before we begin also, I do apologize, I have been sick, so hopefully you can bear with me and I won't sound too sick. But I'm just going through and coloring in this branch with 3 different shades of green. I do have about 5 or 6 different shades of green, but these were the ones that I felt I needed just for this branch here. And you'll see me use the other shades as well as we go along the spread, but that is all I wanted to do for that title page there. You'll see I did have a little bit of bleeding in color there, but more on that later. And I'm doing here on the left my little filler quote page, which I always love to do because I love practicing my calligraphy, and it's a great way to kind of even out the page numbers if you don't have an even number of spreads that you want to do. This is a great way to make that even. So I'm doing my quote here on the left, and this color of green actually bled quite a bit onto my title page, which was very sad, but you'll see at the end in the flip through, I just went around and did some detail work with some whiteout, and I managed to save it, so hopefully it won't be too obvious, but whiteout is a big help when you are bullet journaling because with pens and colors, it's a great way to kind of cover that up, and it is actually pretty effective. So here I'm just adding my little leaf details at the bottom. This is kind of a different style of branch like I was talking about a few seconds ago. This one has a little bit rounder of leaves, it's a lighter shade of green, and I am adding some berries as well. And I'm just coloring that in with a lighter shade. And that's it for that page. Now here on the right, I'm doing my monthly spread. I've said this before, but I just don't love doing a calendar spread where each date has a box. I would rather do, personally, a month at a glance. So that's what I typically do. And I wanted to make this month at a glance a little bit bigger because I saw this on Pinterest a couple times and I liked the idea of it being a little bit more bold and taking up more room because I wanted this to be a bit more minimalist, so I would rather have the calendar view taking up more room than a huge detailed doodle. So all I'm doing is I'm adding another one of these branches, and this again is a different kind of branch, a different style of leaves, and I'm just kind of eyeballing this to fill it in where it's needed. A really helpful tip that I have, I've found that if you want to do any kind of spread that's themed throughout, so for example mine is greenery, or if you wanted to do florals for example, then it's really helpful to go on to something like Pinterest or Instagram or even just Googling different floral doodles so you can see different examples, and that way all of your doodles still look unique and they don't end up looking redundant, but you still can carry that theme and it'll look nice and cohesive. Now moving on to the next page, I have my weekly spread. This is usually the spread that takes the longest other than my tracker to fill out because it requires a lot of measuring with the dot grids and counting out to make sure everything is even. You'll see me doing this quite a bit on this spread. But I am going through and adding a little tab for each day, and I'm actually adding 8 tabs instead of 7, which was kind of new to me, but I wanted to test this out. And one of the tabs, the first one actually here on the left, I'm using as a weekly tab. So instead of doing a day of the week where I have all the tasks that I have to do and all of that stuff, I'm doing a weekly goals tab. So I'm gonna see how that works out, but I like that it makes the pages look a little bit more even on each side. Instead of being 7, there are 8, which kind of helps my OCD and makes it look a little bit more cohesive. So I'm going in and filling out the top of these tabs with a light green, and this is where I will be putting the name of each day, and I'm just kind of using that to tie in the color without it being too crazy, and it's just a little minimal detail instead of having it be in black and white. So now I'm just going in and I'm going to write in the dates and the days of the week. So on each of the days I have it here on the left, and then you'll see in the first tab, which is my weekly tab, I have the 2nd through the 8th, and then on the top, instead of the day of the week, I wrote this week's goals. And then I did a little bulleted list, which I will do for each of the other days as well, so I can just write down any tasks or goals or to-dos that I can cross off. So I have the days of the week written here, and then in the middle I'm actually gonna write MAR, just short for March, and you can fill this in with something different. If you have a different detail that you want to add to your daily tabs that you think would be more helpful, you can definitely do that. And then here on the right, I actually wanted to add a little weather tab. I saw this and I thought it was really cute, so all I did was pull up my weather app and saw the little image weather forecast for each day and followed that to fill it in my journal so that I could follow that for the week. And I really liked this, and I will probably be doing it in the future because I really like how it turned out, and it was a cute little detail. I'm just going in and titling this at the top, and I did add a little drop shadow with a lighter green, which you may or may not be able to see. And then the last detail I'm adding is just a couple branches here in the corner. I was debating whether or not to keep this in black and white or fill it in, but I am glad that I decided to fill it in because I thought that kind of tied the green in. But if you wanted to keep that a black and white, I find that always helps to read as more of a minimalist look. And then last, I'm doing my mood tracker. I'll spare you watching the whole thing of me doodling it, but I'm counting out 31 leaves, and I will number all of those for each day of the month as usual. And I'm doing this mood tracker a little bit different. I usually will fit my mood tracker all onto one page, but I wanted to kind of make this one stand out a little bit more and give it a little bit more room, and I wanted to give my key a little bit more room as well, which you'll see in a moment. So I'm actually using it as a 2-page spread, which I really like and will probably also be doing in the future. So here on the left, I'm doing my tracker, and instead of doing just 3 moods or 2 moods, I'm able to do 6 because I have more colors, more shades of green, and I also have more room since I'm doing 2 pages instead of 1. So that was really nice, and it'll be fun to use a little bit more color and variation on my mood tracker and kind of look back at that at the end of the month. So I'm just filling in the corresponding colors on my key, and then I'm adding a little bit of detail colors on the key page as well here on the left. I'm just adding a little green gradient here in this box, and then I'm highlighting the word mood, and that is it for that. So here with the flip through, you'll see that I do have a couple marks of whiteout, but I was able to manage to save that page. And here is my quote page here on the left. Just pretty simple and keeping with the theme. And then on the right, I have my month at a glance with a little area to write down any notes or important dates on the right, which I do love doing. And that was pretty much it for that page. And then I have my weekly spread here with a tab for each of the days. I did have a little bit more bleeding, but again, you can fix that with whiteout and always test out your colors before, which I was not smart to do this time. I have a bulleted list for each day as well as a weather symbol so I can keep track of that, and I have a weekly goals tab. And then lastly, I have my mood tracker with a 2-page spread instead of a 1, which I really loved. I have a branch with a leaf for each corresponding day, and then my key here on the left. And that is it for this month. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope you loved this video and found it helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe again, and we will see you in the next video.